Here's the meditation for today for the holy souls in Purgatory. The 27th day, a day of prayer for those who were members of pious confraternities and sodalities. The holy souls may be considered in one respect as the choicest and dearest of Mary's children, except the saints themselves who need nothing and are deprived of nothing. She has been made in a particular manner their mother by our Lord on the cross, for in them the fruits of his precious blood are secured. More especially may we consider her interested in those who while on earth made special profession of honoring her. The lives of the saints, the chronicles of religious orders, and other such records are full of anecdotes and revelations which all tend to prove that Our Lady is constantly exercising her power in favor of the holy souls, and that, on the other hand, devotions that are practiced in her especial honor are among the most efficacious means which the children of the Church on earth possess of helping those blessed sufferers. Devout writers tell us that after the holy sacrifice of the Mass, the Rosary is the most powerful weapon that can be used to obtain the deliverance of the holy souls in Purgatory. The Holy Rosary stands to the great mass of Christians much in the same place as the divine office of the Church to those who are bound to recite it, or who have the custom of so doing. The divine office is the great public prayer of the Catholic Church, and it remains such even in the case of those who do not recite it in the choir, but privately and singly. And it has great efficacy on that account. For in the Catholic Church there is a special power and blessing on united, universal, and, as it were, official prayer and praise, which cannot be altogether impaired even by the unworthiness of some who are the ministers of the Church for this purpose. The Holy Rosary is sometimes called the Psalter of the Blessed Virgin, and the universality of its use renders it in a sense the prayer of the whole Church, though not in the same degree as the divine office. Intrinsically, moreover, it has an immense impetratory power, that means a powerful prayer of intercession with God, because it is, in fact, the pleading before Him of the merits of our Lord and of our Blessed Lady in all the mysteries which it commemorates, and which embraces the whole range of the scheme of our redemption as accomplished by Him. Then again it pleads all these merits, as it were, through the heart and through the lips of Mary herself, and so it adds to the power of the mysteries in themselves that of her perfect prayer and intercession, and the affections and intensity of charity which glow in her bosom. Again, it uses, with all its marvelous power, the words of our blessed Lord in the Pater Noster, and of the Archangel Saint Elizabeth, and the Church in the Ave Maria, being also at the same time a chain of most excellent acts of faith, hope, charity, and other supernatural virtues, which are exercised in the consideration of the mysteries. It would be almost impossible to exaggerate the importance which holy writers attach to the practice of this devotion, whether as a means of intercession for the holy souls or for our own benefit. For in this, as in many other cases, the charity which we practice toward them flows back in abundant streams to the benefit of ourselves in this world and in the next. The various forms which devotion to Our Lady may take are almost innumerable. Masses in her honor, masses offered for the souls devout to her, or to whom she may wish to apply them, alms given or works of mercy practiced with the same intention, or again the recital of her office, the visiting her statues, honoring her pictures, and the like, may all be used for the benefit of the holy souls. Among the sorrows of kind hearts, there is one which seems as if it grew greater in each succeeding generation of the world. It is the enormous growth of poverty and wretchedness, and our own inability to relieve it. There is hardly one among us who has not felt this. So overwhelming is the misery that those who have little to give feel the pain as much as those who have nothing. and those who have much to give almost more. For giving opens a man's heart and makes him love to give, and those who have much to give know best how little it is compared with the necessity. Yet this yearning to give alms comes from the Sacred Heart of Jesus, and it must be satisfied. And how can we better satisfy it than by giving alms to those who need it most, the holy souls in purgatory? We can all do this. And how much might we do, even for our dear poor on earth, if we commend their cause to the souls whom God allows us to liberate, and make a sweet bargain with them that, when once in the free air of heaven, their first homage and salutation over, they should pray for an abundant outpouring of grace upon rich men, and that their hearts might be opened like the heart of the first Christians, to deny themselves and to feast the poor of Christ. And now, last but not least, a poem, actually two poems, for the holy souls in purgatory, and then a brief account of something that occurred under Pope Benedict XIII. Twilight, glad day's departing kiss of peace, yet lingered softly in the convent glades, and nature seemed to hush her beating heart, a listening breathless for night's stealing tread. A golden glory still illumined the west, as though the sun cast eager glances back to catch a glimpse of star-crowned queenly night, and smile a welcome to her peaceful reign. The flowers that all day long had gazed on heaven, and sent their grateful odors to the sun, in mute thanksgiving for the tints they wore, now closed their petals, and in slumbers slept, while gentle zephyrs lulled them sweet to rest, and angel dewdrops kissed them every one. At such an hour, when restless thoughts give place to calm and holy musings, and the soul still yearning for the peace serene that reigned in Eden, till rebellious sin disturbed the harmony of nature with her Lord, is raised above the petty things of time, and holds communion with a higher world. At such an hour alone I pensive stood, within the holy relic ground, where sleep another sisterhood, whose toils are o'er, whose hands are folded in a still repose, whose feet once wearied with the daily round, of constant duty, may now rest for aye. Methought if all these sleepers could awake, and stand around me in the shadows dim, what solemn words of counsel would be heard, what sweet encouragement would they not give, to live for God alone and do His will? What earnest pleadings for the souls still bound, in penal fires, awaiting bright release. But no, they will not rise, and yet they speak. Within my soul I hear their voices plead. Out of the depths they come to crave our prayers. A miserere psalm floats soft around, and melts away my heart to tears. But what of that? What matters it, though loving eyes may weep? What matters it, though loving hands may strew the fairest flowers upon the pulseless hearts, or raise a monument of marble rare, and trace the epitaph with ceaseless tears? All this consoles the living, not the dead. Ah me, how much fond love lies in the grave! How many hopes are covered 'neath the sod! How many bleeding hearts are living down, e'en in the silent tomb for weary years! But oh, how sadly few the prayers that rise from earth to heaven for those who've passed away. Too few, and yet we loved them well, and promised oft that time's cold hand should ne'er blot out their memory from our faithful hearts. Although dead years should lie in piles between, they're parting from us and are joining them, that never, never should they forget, should be forgot. Had heart deceived the head, or fancy fond beguiled us into dreaming that a tear would prove to those long gone we'd kept our pledge. Ah no, the dead will only feel that we are true to them by the prayers we say. The gloaming deepened, and the stars looked down, like angels watching o'er the holy ground. I turned toward the temple, where God's love keeps him a captive bound. The while I thought, if souls thus vowed to God who lived for him, and died so full of peace and rest so sweet, may yet be passing through all cleansing fires, ere they can take a place mid angel bands, and walk where lily feet alone may tread, the Lamb to follow wheresoe'er he goes. What must it be for those who've trailed the robe, once made so pure and white at sacred font, among the sin-strewn way of earthly life, where worldly cares obscure the final end. Miseremini mei, will not their wail our dull hearts touch, and waken lively faith? Ah, ye who mourn some beloved dead, remember well what only can avail the souls departed to the shadowland. Let sacrifice for such be duly made. Let pious offerings to high heaven plead. Let prayers and alms your faithfulness attest. 'Tis thus your love will soar above the tomb, and weave a wreath to crown your holy dead. Now lastly, a brief story from the reign of Pope Benedict XIII. Pope Benedict XIII, in his Trigesimi, in order to show how much assistance the prayer Requiescant in pace, so that means in English, may the souls of the faithful departed through the mercy of God rest in peace. That's how we usually say that prayer. May the souls of the faithful departed through the mercy of God rest in peace. How powerful this prayer is to the souls in purgatory recounts a wonderful instance which is related in the Chronicles of the Chartreuse, which is a very devout monastery. An English gentleman, having lately passed to a better life, his son went to visit the fathers of Chartreuse to recommend to their prayers the soul of the deceased, giving them a large quantity of gold as alms. The monks having been all assembled by the prior, and the soul of the good knight having been recommended to their suffrages, they chanted all together Requiescant in pace, and returned in silence to their cells. The pious almsgiver was astonished, and thinking the suffrage the prior had ordered too little, he said to him, "Reverend Father, is this very short prayer of the friars all that my father's soul is to have? Are you not going to add anything more?" The prior, having called the monks back, ordered every one to write upon a small piece of paper his Requiescant in pace. He then sent for a scales, and had the mass of gold placed on one side of the balance, and on the other the little pieces of paper. And behold, most wonderful to relate, the gold, though very heavy, mounted up on high as if it were a feather, while the pieces of paper sank low down with the holy weight of their words. This prodigy, which drew tears from the eyes of the almsgiver, should move us to send frequently and with devotion for the souls in purgatory this joyous message, Requiescant in pace. So may God reward you all for giving time. If you're still with me now, this is a very long meditation. Thank you very much for all the time you gave today for the holy souls in purgatory. I'll look forward to seeing you for the last few days of this month of November, and of course every day thereafter, but last few days for the holy souls beginning tomorrow. God bless you.